Peace, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Israel Doctrines Google Hangout. I'm your host, Carl Albert, and you have now entered into our Hangout. And our show today is entitled Polite, the Imposter PanAfricanist on the UK scene. Commentary by Pit Boss and Israel Doctrine. We're going to deal with what we seen on Talk with the Titans last night on the international broadcast. And I'm going to turn it over to my brother, Pit Boss, a real Pan-Africanist at that.
What's up with you, Carl?
Peace, good morning, bro.
Good morning, man. Early in the morning, getting at the game, huh? Okay. Well, I checked out the video, or the show, I should say, last night on Talk of the Titans, and it was pretty interesting, man. I mean, my thoughts about Polite trying to be a Pan-African. I mean, of course, that's cool. You know, anybody can decide to be or want to be a Pan-African. But when you talk about this particular group of guys and, you know, their desire to what they call bring you the truth or to do the scholarship, right? And you take a look at Polite's real intentions. I mean, we understand that the idea of this particular debate is to galvanize the Black people against the Jewish Harry Rosenberg, or against the Jewish community, and our shining star, our supposedly Pan-African leader, our colleague Muhammad. You know, guy is supposed to be this Polite. And so, I mean, if you're going to walk in there and you're going to represent Pan-African, you should have a real understanding of what Pan-African is, what it stands for, what it means, how do you utilize it and push it forward. And so far, you know what I'm saying? And as far as what he has been doing in that aspect, you know, I know, you know, talking with you a little bit earlier, you know, you're going to kind of give us a little background on some of his opposition to Black Power over his debate career on Neta TV.
Yeah, well, for the most part, that's what it is. He came in trying to destroy Black Power so he can bring about commerce, quote unquote, Black economics. But that's why I said people got to go back and do the history. If you check out the video Free Tahuti, you know, Polite, come get this work. This is a video that Tahuti made before he got locked up. And he was trying to get a debate with Polite. And you can see people talking about, you know, the man was hurting and he couldn't eat. So Red Pill say he became a culture vulture in the sense that he started arming himself with information to start going after people and stuff. But now what Tahuti was doing, he was trying to preserve Black Power because Polite came in the community, getting that Sarah Susan Seti, right? Forcing that man hand to get in the ring with him. And that's why it was so much contention and stuff. Like he was trying to tell the, you know, the UK audience and stuff last night where he was talking about homosexuality and things of that nature. Well, homosexuality is a big problem in our community and Polite wasn't going against it, really. You know what I'm saying? Because of Malachi Z. York and things of this nature and New Covenant and his roots, his master teacher and stuff, right? So then he went to Malik Zulu Sabaz. Now we know Malik inherited the Black Panther Party from Khalil Muhammad, who was most definitely banging on the beast, as Sarah Susan said today. This man, he made so much headways, the ADL and everybody was after him. Neta is one of his students, one of the people that followed him around. He was the face of Black Power. He was making white folks bow down and kiss his boots, his army boots, not his gator boots, but his army boots. He was in his fatigue. You can see him and Tahuti dressed the same. You can see Sarah Susan Seti, whoever they was getting their clothing from at the time, you know. So this was the face of Black Power. This was the face of the conscious community. They was going after these people, making them bow down and things of that nature. It's not no more. Polite came in and took it over and now he got his pyramid scheme going, and he's talking about commerce and dollars and stuff. Getting the black dollar is black power, you know what I'm saying? Or getting any dollar, that's black economics, right? But they didn't have this mindset at first. It was about tearing stuff down. So then he went from Malik Zulu Shabazz to Zaria. Now, Neta said last night on the Sad Box that he didn't say Polite was 0-3. I played that video, right? So Black Power, Sarah Susan said it beat him. Black Power, Malik Zulu Shabazz beat him. And Black Power, you know, Black Hebrew Israelites, even the religious right, beat him. So Polite was 0-3. Whereas he's the young phenom, the shining prince, this, that, and everything else, and where has he taken over the Black Power movement? If he was a Pan-Africanist and he represented that red, black, and green, he would not have been coming after them people to try to take their crown in a negative way and try to say Black Power didn't have this. Now, if anybody out there that's in this community can't speak for this perspective that I'm bringing out, then you just a coward, and you probably pretty much on this Ponzi scheme that Polite doing too. But that's the history of that. So now we could go back to what Black Power is and stuff. I'm gonna turn that over to you.
Well, I mean, let's go back a little bit in history to the formation, because, you know, I had a little debate on your show with Brother Reggie, and you know, talk about Leonard Jeffries, and you know, Leonard Jeffries at the time, he got a little hot and heated about a position that I had put forward, and so, you know, Brother Reggie had to come out there and call himself defending this position. And one of the things that I was making at the time was the framework of Black Power. I mean, of Pan-Africanism. So, you know, I started a group, the Fraternal Order of Pan-Africanism, and, you know, we drop a lot of Pan-African history in the group. We break down various formations of that. So one of the early conventions that took place is in 1900, they had a Pan-African conference in London. You know, various members from all over the world started coming there, you know, to get there for this particular conference. And the architect of the conference on the low was Booker T. Washington. He just so happened to be traveling, that he wasn't necessarily a guest per se. But the reason for this is because he was such a powerful guy that he had to keep what they were doing, you know, on the low ski. And so therefore he couldn't really put himself out there, but he was there. And when they put this conference together, the ideology of this conference and of this idea of Pan-African was set at this conference. So if you go back and you study what they were doing and what they were trying to attempt, is they were trying to uplift Black folks out of poverty. Certain places in Africa, they were under colonialism. In America, we were just walking out of slavery, and we had oppression and depression and poverty and various conditions that was affecting us. We didn't have education. We didn't have any economics. And so they said, let's uplift the Black folks worldwide. We're going to need a framework. These men were all Christian in their ideologies that were at the convention. There were many of them. It was probably about 70 people at this particular convention. I say about 30 were main speakers for the convention and building this ideology and framework. And then they took this ideology back to their respective areas of the world and began to implement what the concept was about. Now, out of all of that, the one who implemented it the best, the most effectively, was Booker T. Washington. But you will never hear, or you haven't heard yet, the Mr. Pan-African Polite ever mention anything about this conference or anything about the history of Pan-Africanism or anything about, he'll drop Marcus Garvey. That's the given because he created the flag. So, of course, you're going to see the flag and then you're going to go to Marcus Garvey. That's the same mistake that Umar Johnson makes by trying to claim that Marcus Garvey is the #1 Pan-African guy. With Marcus Garvey, he wasn't even around to attend his first event because he had no concept of what was going on. He was part of the aftermath of what was building. Now, I do give Marcus Garvey a whole lot of credit for his attempt to push forth and uplift Black folks, just like I would give anyone else, like yourself, Carl, or anybody else who just steps out here and tries to uplift the Black folks. But in this particular modern sense of Neta TV and these fakers that's running around acting like they want to be down, they're opportunists. So in this particular opportunity, he needs to galvanize all of the Black folks. Well, you can't galvanize everybody under being Moors. You can't galvanize everybody under being Christians. You can't galvanize everybody under being Islam. That don't work. Those things are specific in nature, and Pan-Africanism is more of a galvanizing framework because, yeah, it doesn't require you to change your belief in the aspect of spirituality to come into the fold, because the overall message of it is to uplift Black folks, and so therefore it's an economic development. But when you listen to who these people's heroes is, you can honestly see that, well, based on your heroes, you don't have any real Pan-African information. So you talk about Dr. Clark. These guys wasn't pushing economic development. They were non-economic liberals. You talk about that, huh?
So let's look at it though, right?
Most
of these guys are Masons. Most of these guys come through the craft of Ra. Most of these guys deal with that stuff. Neta even putting his, hand in his jacket and stuff now, the Masonic thing, trying to mess with y'all head and try to say he's not trying to say he is, and keeping you guessing, keeping the confusion out there. This is why, you see the Ra squad coming along, even trying to push this thing up. You seen them wearing the 33s up there. So now you got what Steve Coakley was telling us about the boule, the different people that controls the Black people. This is where you hear Khalil L says last night, the liberal arts. Now you got the liberal arts and these things, and you got to learn colloquialisms and these big words and all this skill that Polite was showing last night. But like you say, he wasn't dealing with bringing the community together, really. He was bringing his Ponzi scheme together. He was reaching out to a more broader audience. He never came on Khalil L's show, but he know with the Rabbi Rosenberg, he can go international with this. So the whole thing, once again, as we were speaking about when we did our first, commentary, the thing is to integrate the community and even try to get more money and go up. Polite say he can't go down from that. So he degraded everyone but Malik Zulu Shabazz, because that would have been a bad move. But he said nothing. Look at him. He was just a nigga that I had to debate, right? Then Tazariak, that's just a nigga. But we know that what happened in that debate crossed the line. Now, he said people were showing dick pics and this things, but people weren't spinning their wives around and said, "Would you like this? When you like to have this too?" Right? People weren't talking about fucking their pregnant baby mamas or wife, right? They weren't doing this, but he'll say these other people were so ghetto and so this and that, and he was so intellectual. That's not right, Polite. And anybody in the community let you get away with that, they trade us to the community, because you're trying to steal Pan-Africanism. You're trying to down your brothers to show yourself bigger than them, and you're trying to say, I'm going to another level, and anybody that ain't trying to get on my level will kiss my tail and come under my Ponzi scheme, Ra squad and all of this, then it's a problem. You're going to get cut out the fold with this international dollar and things that I'm bringing, or this so-called Black economic power. It's a game, people.
Well, definitely when you watched the show last night, they had their little simple cult, their little organization of people on the show. This is a game. Like, we sitting here watching the same faces, like we're watching Fox News or we're watching CNN. We got to hear from the same voices. Every time you come out, we hear the same simple ass voices with some dumbass shit you got to say. And yeah, Polite, okay, you learned a few words. You keep using these same words over and over. We got it. We understand that. You know, your thing is to go in here and be a wordsmith. That's all cool. But the game is a little more serious. Neta tries to fake the funk like he for Black Power, but he not for Black Power. You done did a show on B. Dot. You done did a show on PanAfricanism. You done did a show on everybody that wants to come on and speak. They don't have to be a super mega star to get on your show. You could be a first timer. You could have a video on YouTube with 24 views and Carl give you a shot to come on and speak and do what you want to do. But in their world, you got to be part of this, the craft. You got to be part of this bullshit we put together. You got to be a Bible basher. We don't want you if you try to uplift people with the Bible. Why I could use every book out there, but I can't use the Bible? How in the hell can all these bullshit ass books they keep showing be better than the Bible? None of them damn books is going to be nowhere on the scene in 400 years, but the Bible will still be standing there shining on you.
Well, that was a great point. That's a great point he made about authors and the power of authenticating and doing this and doing that. Now, like you say, a Pan-Africanist will give somebody a chance to get on. They don't want to hold a brother down. They want to uplift the race, the people, race first. They want to do that. Well, once again, Tahuti couldn't get a debate. He had to take a drug test. The man got confused. Is he saying I'm smoking drugs or something? What are you talking about? But next thing you know, he got to arm himself and try to go to war with Polite just to get some of this economics, black economics that's going on 125th Street. You hear Neta say, well, you can't get on the House of Consciousness or Neta TV now unless you go through the Ra squad. You have to go through them because they have to make sure that you take the oath or the allegiance to the people. You let young Pharaoh come through. He didn't go through nobody like that and stuff. Neta just put him on. Then you got the scamming going on with Polite, this and that. But Pharaoh a made man. Now Steady is his handler. Don't worry about them. You can roll with me and you can still do this. So they got all these old conscious community people trying to advance because they know it's becoming a young man's sport. Pharaoh is a young man, and there's other ones out there that's been watching and listening and stuff. So now you have to be the mentor. You have to get your Greek on and mentor these young brothers. You know what I'm saying? And bring them into the fold or the monopoly that you got going on. You can't let like a Carl Albert come out of nowhere. You can't even let a Rob Bourne come out of nowhere. You can't let a young Pharaoh come out of nowhere. You can't let an Eli the God come out of nowhere. You haven't been vetted in the system or molded in the craft. So you're not an initiative in the House of Consciousness. This is what Red Pill keep telling you. You know what I'm saying? So people, this thing is real. Y'all can believe what you want, but it's real. Y'all got to tap into the understanding. Ain't that right, brother?
Well, for sure. I mean, Carl, you get up every day and you drop your videos and you report, you read the Bible, you report on Neta TV. You give a lot of pub to what they doing. You know, you talk about their events, you update people who may just be involved in what they call this a fake ass awakening, you know, for a year or two. You kind of, you know, speed them up to par, let them know what's really going on. And do you think that they would come over here and say, well, let's go over there and get on Carl Albert's, you know, platform, help him build his platform up? Hell no. The only reason they're over there on Kalim shit is because he folded to their ass and became Team Osiris. And so now, oh, okay, so since you joined our bullshit, we'll come over here and help you. You feel me? So now,
yeah, but who helped build that platform? I was on my pen.
I know for sure. You jumped up there early on. That's the point I'm trying to make here. You'll go
first one on that. He called. He said, "Look, man, this, that, and the other." I said, "I'll be on them tomorrow." Ask Virtual TV. When he called me, I said, "Brother, hey, look, you ain't even got to talk to me about what you want to do.
Real talk.
I'm sure that you gonna be a man to stand on your ethics. And when I come over there, I'll tell if you trying to stab me in the back or not.
He gonna stab you because he got 30 people holding his goddamn hand to stab you. You feel me? He ain't gonna come over here. I mean, your man Khalim, he might slide over here and talk lightweight to you, but he not gonna bring the platform over here. They not gonna help you out. They not gonna let you get your ass up off that couch and get with the program. They don't want to, because they not no goddamn Pan-African. They faking the funk, and that ain't no goddamn Pan-Africanism. If you ain't willing to, never will be. If your aim is to knock the Bible with a red, black, and green flag waving behind your ass, you not Pan-African. Period. Point blank. Period. Booker T. Washington was a Pan-Africanist. I mean, was a Christian. Marcus Garvey was a Christian. These are your main dudes that you're following.
And they was Pan-Africanists, as right. The sister, Dr. Wright came over and explained to you all that right. Booker T behind the scenes was moving and shaking, doing all those things. He helped with Liberia. He helped with all those things. So when you see a person on Front Street and they have certain things that they're presenting to you, you always got to look underneath the surface. And that's what y'all not doing with what goes on over here, what goes on Neta TV and stuff. And because, as the brother put it, since you got all these people helping in the propaganda scheme and everybody coming together, it goes back to a show that I just did the other day. It's Mob Rules. It's the majority consensus that's going on. And when you have the wide road and you have the one on the straight and narrow, then the people on the wide, they got all these numbers, they look good to you, but you're not checking out what's going on. And it's a shame. I'm glad that, you know, we get the chance to talk about it here and y'all get a chance to listen to it. That's if you subscribe and keep up with what's going on over here, because we're going to be bringing some heavy stuff out.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, this is the hype time. Last night, you know, Polite said, oh, you know, we over here to market our, you know, our bullshit event that we going to have and, you know, galvanize all this money and get this money. And so, you know, we over here to support you. So now we about to watch for the next 2 weeks. How many platforms will they appear on outside of Neta TV to show us this ideology of Pan-African, fake ass Pan-African shit that you try to pull? Because I know what he gonna do after this debate. Somebody gonna say some shit to him from another segment. Oh, he gonna go after Christianity through some white folks, or he gonna find some other fucking Indian or some goddamn body that's opposite of what he been doing, and then that's gonna become the target. And now he gonna have to reframe whatever the hell he talking about, because the ideology of that person ain't gonna fit for him to represent Pan-African. You see what I'm saying? So he's just an opportunist, like a shapeshifter that's gonna shape and shift for whatever is necessary for the moment so that he can get some ticket sales.
It's the same thing as Tahuti said, and just what you just pointed out. If he really wanted to say he helping other black people and he helping vendors and this and that, as I told Neta the other day when I talked to Neta, I say every time I deal with y'all, y'all trying to crap on my show and crap on me and put a narrative out there. But now you mad because I'm going at y'all and this and that. I know the people don't understand. But me and Neta know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? He's a businessman. I'm a businessman. I got a platform. He got a platform. It was the same thing with Tahuti. If you try to build a monopoly and you don't want to let other people eat, like Harry Rosenberg, I was trying to get him over here before he even became a part of this debate. The man has been over here a couple times. A couple of his friends have came over here because they don't have no hidden agenda. But
right.
last night talking. Let me just say this. Last night they talking that, like Unc said, wherever Harry go, he can lay his head. He got some money. He got somebody that's looking out for him. Shit, he's more Pan-Africanist than the Pan-Africans that claiming they're Pan-Africanist, right? Because if he's going to take this show on the road, he should hit every platform. And he know that I'm on Harry Rosenberg's side. So he should at least come over here to his critics and say, well, Israel doctrine, let me try to convince you. But see, the Hebrews in New York just bowed down to it because they're a part of the Ponzi scheme too. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
but the Hebrews ain't never. I be seeing all of this new age opportunities trying to put theirs together. But the history of Pan-Africanism, the Hebrews was around at the time, and they sure enough wasn't jumping on the bandwagon with the Pan-Africanism. So they just got left behind. That's why you never really heard about this Hebrew Israelite doctrine until the 60s, because they wasn't really getting with the bandwagon. And then, you got all this conflicting ideologies that fly with various people trying to push what they think is Pan-Africanism. And, they got the right to do that. But definitely, if you was to jump over in my group and take a look at what we present, you might understand what Pan-African is. I mean, like anything, you got to go down to the root of it, and then you got to build your way up and understand it. So in that aspect, you'll never learn about Pan-Africanism through Polite. As bright as he think he is, you'll never learn it, because he's not going to push anything Bible.
Well,
and if you push anything Bible, you can't push Pan-Africanism. Is based on the Bible.
Let's go to what they talked about last night when they was trying to sell that book that Unc got. Methodology, right? They set it up and segued it good so Unc could show the book. Methodology. How do you find out what a Pan-Africanist is? Now, I had a woman, a sister, a doctor, right? In her field, she has paperwork in her field, right? Not in another field trying to claim that she's dealing with another field, but in her field. A student of Tuskegee on here. She told us the methodology that she went through to deal with Booker T being a Pan-Africanist.
Right.
Jeffries won't debate her, and none of them other people will go to Dr. Clark House and debate her. She's a debater. But she's not doing it for the money and this, that, and other thing, but she's a debater. And these people have dodged her. You know what I'm saying? But they'll have a debate, Dr. Jeffries and who was the brother that he debated. And they'll have a debate right there in Clark's house and mention her name, but no one wants to debate her about Booker T and this and that. So once again, like I said, people, I'm not your greatest insider. I'm not the greatest behind the curtain, but I'm behind the curtain. I can see and hear, and I can gauge what's going on. Black power has been the cry for a long time since Stokely Carmichael brought it out, right? And pushed it so hard that he is considered the father of the term. And we see what he did. Anybody that's really, as I stated last night in the video, anybody that really knows what go on, if you're pushing black power and it's a threat, the ADL, the government, the Catholic Church, everyone is going to come after your head, because you going to uncover truly what white supremacy is, as Dr. Crutz-Wilson was doing with the ISIS paper. And you see how ISIS now is a terrorist group, and you see how they trying to paint her as a terrorist with dealing with homosexuality, this, that, and the other, and different things. People, they attack the ones that are attacking the system, but those that's playing in the system, they don't get attacked. They freely out here to be manipulated by them to manipulate us as the masses. And they are your Masons, your Gasons, your fraternity people, and all of these people that is shocker utmost. If you into Greek society, then you can be a homosexual. No one is touching the homosexual agenda and what's going on in the House of Consciousness. All of y'all afraid to talk about what's really going on. And I'm glad, because I'll be the forerunner. I'm making record of it so they can come back and watch and listen to what I'm saying and doing, and say, this brother here was on it at the time. Everybody else was trying to diss him. So you making my name hot. Everybody else was trying to diss him and stop him, because I'm blessed to be able to sit on my couch and deal with this information in this situation. If I had to go somewhere else, I couldn't be a great watchman and keep my eyes on the prize.
Well, they need to really understand, I watch everybody's channels, and then just so we can keep the Pan-African flow alive. I check you out. I seen all your little debacles this week. Shout out to G Conscious, shout out to In the Black, shout out to Michael Edwards. It's all good. Everybody got a disagreement, but you all are laying down your perspective, getting your little bit of fame and building up your platforms. And I'm sure 2-3 months from now, y'all ain't gonna be mad at Carl. Carl ain't gonna be mad at y'all. It's all good. It's all in the game. It's all a game at the end of the day from that aspect. But from the serious aspect, everybody trying to offer a little bit of information. We all changing up positions, like on the chessboard. You moving over here, you moving over there, trying to get in position that you could call check. You know, I mean, that's what you're trying to do. Everybody trying to call check. But at the end of the day, what we all hope is that we got some sort of kind of platform like the white folks got. We want CNN on this end and Fox News on this end and CBS over here and BET and MTV, you know, all in the game, all ran by somebody black, that when we decide we want to put a message out, we ain't got to go to no goddamn Neta who gonna dictate what the message could be. We can go to everybody, including Neta, and everybody got a thick platform that they could push out the message, and we could drain out the white man from his bullshit message. But with this bullshit that they doing, you can't build that because niggas is programmed to hate and they not programmed to love. So anything that resistance to a nigga, he gonna act a nigga fit. But in the reality though, when you come off the dumb shit and you show some black unity, you can step in and you can say, well, brother, you know, you believe in spaceships, all good. What you think about black folks? Oh, you love black folks? Well, let's help you down the road. And then we all could have some shit that we could say, look what we built. But for now, we got to attack each other because we got to knock out all the goddamn suckers that's trying to push the game forward until it ain't but nothing but realness left on the board. Then when you got realness left on the board, then that will establish something real. So let's go back and look and see what happened way back in the days with the same situation, but with people who was real and the fake. I take y'all back to 1916. A man by the name of Emmett Scott. He was the secretary of Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington just died, and he wrote a book, and he called the book The Builder of a Civilization. In the aspect of this book, he explained and broke down the life of Booker T. Washington and what he was accomplishing. And in his eyes, being so close to this man, he was building a civilization. White folks attacked Booker T. Your boy W.E.D. Du Bois joined forces with Spinegard, and that he attacked Booker T. Why? Because Booker T was building masters of men. He was taking men uneducated and giving them an industrial education so that they could be the masters of the universe. You can't be a master mason or a master builder if you don't know how to build shit. And therefore, he was a builder. The civilization that he was building was a black industrial nation. And then he got hated on. So when we look down the line and we see, where did all of these niggas over there on Neta get their education from? Who are they masters? When they start calling out them names, you ask yourself, is that master a builder? Is he a liberal arts guy? Is he an industrial guy? You start checking to see what their educations is, and then you go back and line that shit up between the time of W.D. Du Bois and Booker T. And you ask yourself, was he following the ideology of W.D. Du Bois, or was he following the ideology of Booker T. Washington? And I tell you, without a doubt, 100%, all they goddamn heroes is following that W.D. Du Bois. Non-economic liberalism is what it's called. It's non-economic liberalism. It means that you're going to have a hell of a scholar degree. You're going to be able to sit here and run off a list of some big-ass goddamn words, but you ain't going to be able to put a bicycle together. You ain't going to be able to put your kids' simple toy on Christmas out the box together because you don't have any industrial education. You don't have any type of ability to create a job. You only got the ability to go out and get a job. And that's the purpose of Pan-African, that you go and build, you build your own job. And that's how you defeat white supremacy, by writing your own check.
And an infrastructure, as I pointed out when debating Nyami, which is a Pan-Africanist, and he pushed the communist Pan-Africanist and this and that. But me and the brother had a debate. So I went to the Bible and I went to Booker T and I went to Garvey. And Garvey, in his declaration to the UNIA, was talking about he invoked the God of the Bible. And Booker T said he read the Bible and no one makes anything that's stable, as people trying to say unstable. Anything that's stable if they're not building on the rock, the cornerstone. So Jeremiah told us what? Build houses. You can't do that with a degree in this, that, and the other. And the one that got a degree into how to deal with engineering, not talking engineering, talking other stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got to build houses. You got to plant gardens. You got to give your daughters to husband. Males, you got to give your sons to wives. Females, the homosexuality thing keep coming up more and more, and they talk like it's text in Kemet to deal with the situation that we dealing with today. People, is nothing in there. I beg and I plead for the Amun-Ra squad or any of those Kemetic scholars to sit down and do a don't be homo lecture like Irritated and Tazariak did, and show us through the Kemetic science that y'all push, and Polite has broke it down and everything. So just go to him and get the information. I would love to sit down and watch that show so y'all can show the world how you have a Shaka Utmost running around in the community and y'all not saying a damn thing about him. But he make you mad, Amun-Ra squad, and you want to kill the Codex, which I already buried on Khalil Mail's show with that. With Smash, Rock Rail, you know, Arrows Up, so on and so on. Magi.
When you start teaching that Kemetic science, all you're doing is fantasizing. You're trying to remember the time, like Michael Jackson said. Do you remember the time? Well, yeah, it's cool to fantasize once in a while, but sometimes you got to snap out of that. You got to come back into reality. You know, all of these high-end, sophisticated languages of Kemet, you can't use that to build no nation. It's useless. All of this deep studies, the Metu Neter, that shit is useless as far as if you want to build a nation. If you want to compete against white supremacy, you can't use none of that Kemet shit, period. None of it. Because none of it.
The Christian Marcus Garvey playing. That's why they up in Detroit talking about that. That's why they start pushing that even more.
Right. Because you can't use it. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say here is that he can't come to the conference and say, "Oh, I'm Pan Kemet." He can't use it. It's not going to work once you start talking about building up black folks. You can't get up out of the African American. There ain't no group out there that's could compete with what the African American has done in the last 400 years on this planet. There ain't no race out there. Ain't no Asians, no Japanese, no Indians, no nothing out there that could deal with what the African American has done in slavery and freed. And the type of things
let's make this a clear point for the people, right? Pan-Africanism is our Zionism. You hear that? What the Zionists doing and what they care for and what they didn't accomplish with being a Zionist, you're a Pan-African, you can accomplish the same. And that's why Polite grabbed that political tool to go against Harry Rosenberg and what he claiming he is a Zionist, right? That's why he did that. Once again, he got to grab the red, black, and green flag. He can't fly the New Covenant flag. He has to do something that'll galvanize the people. This is where they was working on your mindset when they took the picture and everybody was so called up. This is where they keep a run divine around just to say we got a Hebrew around. See, we got the friendly RBG Hebrew divine prospect. He rock with us. This is why Polite took him out to dinner and sit down and talk to him. What you think Polite sitting down and talking to these people about? What is he sitting down having a meeting for? He don't agree with their ideology. He don't agree with this and that. So he's telling you in your subconscious, if you listen good enough and use that sight beyond sight and ears beyond, you know, hearing beyond hearing, right? He's telling you did he sit down and gave them the offer to come into the game with him. Those that did. You see Nasi Yashavale, soon he had his debate with Cyrus Seti and took him out, what Polite couldn't do, right? It wasn't supposed to be no slander either, but all of them knew that Cyrus Seti was sniffing or smoking or whatever it was. They knew the man was on drugs. So it was set up for Nasi to come through with that, right? But the way they played it is they say, no, we're not supposed to slander, and we're not going to slander people, then Nasi do it. And right after that, you see Polite bringing them into the fold. Handlers, people, he has Nasi on his show the next night, and they talking polygamy because they got something they can agree on. I got multiple wives. You got multiple wives. This is something we agree on. I'm putting you on my platform now and making your name big. And next thing you know, Nasi is the fucking ambassador of the Hebrew Israelite community and stuff. He's the one that's wearing the crown and bringing all the Israelites to the trial, so on and so forth. People, I know we as a people always come up with conspiracy theories, and I know we say people is crazy and shit for conspiracy theories and stuff, but sometimes you just got to look at stuff. And if it is what it is, then you got to call it what it is. So now, they told you last night about methodology. Become the Steve Coakley of this day. I might be him, I may not be him. I might embody that spirit, I may not. But if you do, become the Steve Coakley of the day. Study the conscious community. Study the House of Conscious. Study the players. Do as they doing with Ali Muhammad and Mighty Hebrew and stuff. Go behind the scenes and see where these guys come from. As Pitbull says, see who they master teachers are and what they was into. And if they was down low people and this, that, and everything else. This is what you need to study because these are the people that are affecting your lives. What happened in Kemet 500 million years ago or whatever the hell, that's not affecting your lives. White supremacy and the system that they got set up and how these people are playing in it is what's affecting our lives today. I'm pretty much through, brother. I don't know what else to say on my behalf. If you got something else you want to drop, then I'll listen and we can sign out or whatever.
Yeah, let me just close it out with a little, to reinforce what you just said, man, because it's real important that, that you do exactly what you just mentioned in the aspect of methodology, and that Brother Ankh was going in with his new book, methodology. See, this is the thing that they're going to do, is they're going to continue, and there ain't nothing wrong with writing a book. You should write a book, bring the book forward, let us have whatever literature you got. But see, in the realisticness, they're not building the industrial structure. They're not building a real community because they want to build the community around Kemet, and you can't. That's why the Coptics of Alexandria in the 1st century, they dropped that information because they realized that they're up against the Greeks and the Romans, and the Romans and the Greeks are taking over the world, and they need something to combat this shit. And they could tell that the Romans and the Greeks was trying to already, they done stole their information and flip-flopped it, and now they're suppressing them. So now they need to reach out and they need to get it information that they could combat that with. And in order to do that, they grabbed that Bible literature and they went to only attack, and they shut that down. Now you got all of these Walter Williams crazy ass coming on talking about Serapis was a Christian. It's some bullshit, and we got some answers for that if you niggas want to debate. I got William Bell, shut that shit down. What day do you want to debate? How much money do you want put on the line? It's not a problem. For y'all, it might be. For us, it's not. What are you talking about? Nothing. You ain't talking about nothing because you don't want to face a Pan-African. You don't want to face a preterist, and you don't want to face a Christian who know what they talking about. You want to go and play these games and keep getting these silly-ass people that you get that you can continue to push your mess. And that's cool if you're just having some fun. If you just entertaining us, that's cool. We'll sit back, we'll get entertained. But if you will But if you want to bring the hard truth to the booth, if you want to make sure, like, man, forget all of that. Just whoever got the truth, put them on the stage, regardless what their truth is, let them get off. You're not going to do that. You're going to continue to edge and scrape at it that your message continues to flow, because you don't have a real agenda. The ADL will never be against you. You're a tool. They love what you're doing. They don't hate what you're doing. You're not pushing shit that deflects what they're doing. I go online every day. I'm in all them damn chat rooms, and these so-called suckers come on there talking that shit with the Kemet, and all I got to do is go get some Aleister Crowley memes and start posting that at their ass and say, tell me what shit you kicking that Aleister Crowley didn't kick. What type of shit is you kicking that Alice Bailey wasn't kicking with her 10-point plan way back in 1950? What new shit you got that they didn't already bring? Nothing. That's why they built nothing. You see what I'm saying? So in that sense, here we are. We about to get 2 weeks of the most bullshit propaganda coming up out that camp that we done seen, because this is the great debate. They need to make more money off this one than they ever did before. And so at any cost, they gonna make
Harlem Night. All you got to do is go watch Harlem Night and then look for March the 20th, and it'll tell you exactly what's going on. All the shysters, all the gamblers, and all the people trying to watch some change and this and that is gonna show up, and they gonna get away with the biggest night in Harlem history. That's what they trying to do.
Wow.
So shout out to all my haters, all my frenemies, and everybody else, you know what I'm saying? And to those out there, once again, to deal with Kemet science and now Valley science or whatever, please show us the documentation where it said a man shouldn't be going up another man's rectum and that women shouldn't be licking on other women's and stuff. Please show us that. Take us into the meta language and, you know, translate it or whatever you have to do, methodology you have to do to show that, because I keep calling your bluff. You don't have it. And yes, you wanted Kemet on trial, but you didn't show your text. You didn't show your text on how to deal with that. And the world's still waiting. I'm still waiting. I got my popcorn ready and I got my soda water. And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch. Y'all, if you ever do it, because I don't think you ever going to do it.
I got one last question. My question is to the Amin Ra squad. Polite said that Kemet had no gods. Now, I want to know, what do y'all got to say? Do y'all agree with that? Did Kemet not have gods, or should I say, you know, deities, or was this just a affiliation of the nature? Because that's that bullshit. This is where scholarship is not in these men, because nobody wants to contest Brother Polite. They all just want to ride his dick because they hope that he invite them to Beverly Hills to ride around in the Bentley. But they're not going to contest that information.
They do all the stuff that Blue Pill said, you know, desires.
Yeah.
All them things you know, all them things you wish you could do when you was younger, but now you got the money and the different stuff and the connect. Oh, you can go out to Hollywood and find you know, your fantasy.
Every time they mention Pan-African, Carl, I'm coming back to smash out anything they just put up. So if you mention that shit, I'm coming on and we're going to get it. And no, I'm not coming on Side Neta TV, God damn it. Fuck you. I'm not coming on. I'm not trying to come on, and it's all good. And I don't hate Side Neta at all. I got much love for what he's doing. I just ain't got time for no bullshit. That's it.
Y'all ain't even heard from Sharp Spear.
Not yet.
One thing about a Sharp Spear, though, you could throw it at the opponent and it ain't a boomerang. The shit don't come back and hit you in the head.
Not at all. It go one direction, straight at you. And yeah, this ain't a hating on nobody. We ain't tripping on nobody. But I'm not begging nobody to come to get no money. I've been getting money before these niggas was ever put on a boot, before you ever yelled Black Power. I was on the block busting it down. Stop playing. Money ain't nothing. I'll be in goddamn Cali in a week or two, god damn it. And I'll start flashing videos, riding around with all my homies, and we got Bentleys and the rest of that shit. Trust and believe that. I'll put the shit on film and show it to you.
So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's why I got expendable assets out here. They not doing nothing but hating. What's their career now? What they doing? They souped up for Neta to come against me because I'm coming against Neta. Once again, Neta, you and I know the game we playing. You know what I'm saying? And I know all the characters. And over time, I'm going to bring them out. So with that said, it's hard to yell when the
Pharaoh in your mouth.
when the figurative barrel is in your mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Be strong. When it's on, it's on.
Peace, everybody, and have a good day. Great day. Subscribe if you want to, some more information. Peace.